The Jubilee year. The year of trumpet. Jubilee. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. The Jubilee year is the year at the end of 7 cycles of Shemitah, sabbatical years, and according to biblical regulations had a special impact on the ownership and management of land in the land of Israel. There is some debate whether it was the 49th year, the last year of 7 sabbatical cycles, referred to as the Sabbath, or whether it was the following, 50th year. Jubilee deals largely with land, property, and property rights. According to Leviticus, slaves and prisoners would be freed, debts would be forgiven, and the mercies of God would be particularly manifest. Leviticus 25:8-13 states, "And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, nor gather the grapes in it of thy vine undressed. For it is the jubilee, it shall be holy unto you, ye shall eat the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of this jubilee ye shall return every man unto his possession." The Jubilee year or the year of trumpet will start in September 2015 and end in September 2016. This has a great meaning, because the rapture and the tribulation seem to happen in the Jubilee year. He will send out his angels with a loud trumpet, and they will gather his elect from the 4 winds, from one end of the sky to the other. Matt 31. This prophesies the rapture. The angelic group will gather his elect in the year of trumpet, the Jubilee year. Now the gates of Jericho were securely barred because of the Israelites. No one went out and no one came in. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "See, I have delivered Jericho into your hands, along with its king and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast on the trumpets, have the whole army give a loud shout, then the wall of the city will collapse and the army will go up, everyone straight in." So Joshua son of Nun called the priests and said to them, "Take up the ark of the covenant of the Lord and have 7 priests carry trumpets in front of it." And he ordered the army, "Advance. March around the city, with an armed guard going ahead of the ark of the Lord." When Joshua had spoken to the people, the 7 priests carrying the 7 trumpets before the Lord went forward, blowing their trumpets, and the ark of the Lord's covenant followed them. The armed guard marched ahead of the priests who blew the trumpets, and the rear guard followed the ark. All this time the trumpets were sounding. But Joshua had commanded the army, "Do not give a war cry, do not raise your voices, do not say a word until the day I tell you to shout. Then shout." 11 So he had the ark of the Lord carried around the city, circling it once. Then the army returned to camp and spent the night there. Joshua got up early the next morning and the priests took up the ark of the Lord. 13 The 7 priests carrying the 7 trumpets went forward, marching before the ark of the Lord and blowing the trumpets. The armed men went ahead of them and the rear guard followed the ark of the Lord, while the trumpets kept sounding. 14 So on the 2nd day they marched around the city once and returned to the camp. They did this for 6 days. On the 7th day, they got up at daybreak and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner, except that on that day they circled the city 7 times. The 7th time around, when the priests sounded the trumpet blast, Joshua commanded the army, "Shout! For the Lord has given you the city." Joshua 6. The biblical story that Joshua attacked Jericho is a model case that the angelic group whose symbol is Jesus, Joshua, will approach the earth. Joshua is Jesus Christ himself, because Jesus is Joshua in Hebrew. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, with the priests blowing the trumpets. Joshua 6:4. In the Revelation, every time 7 angels blow the trumpets, terrible disasters happen. It is based on this part in the book of Joshua. Here, the present earthlings is compared to the residents in Jericho and the earth is compared to the promised land or Canaan. This story tells how the angelic people will treat the present earthlings. But it is not the angels but the Satans that will actually cause the tribulation. In the story of Sodom in the Genesis, Lot protected 2 angels whom God had sent. So he and his family were saved. In the book of Joshua, Rahab protected 2 scouts whom Joshua had sent. So she and her family were saved. Both are same. If the king of Jericho had respected 2 scouts and surrendered to Joshua, the town would have been saved. And the 2 scouts are the witnesses in the Revelation. The surrender means surrendering the earth to the angels by the time limit, 1999. It is impossible to save the whole earthlings, now that 1999 has passed. But there is still personal salvation or the rapture.